Humble UI.
Humble UI, yeah.
Humble UI.
Still going, yeah.
Kind of really super interesting.
Yeah, I had the React library back in the day, but yeah.
Yeah, RAM, exactly.
RAM, yeah.
And then there's your blog, which is real gem. So let's give a round of applause to Nikita.
Thank you. Hi everyone. So I'm going to teach you how to reload code today. I want to start with some facts. So first, we all love REPL, right? Yeah, I think so. Yeah. REPL is interactive. And here we arrive at our first contradiction. So we want to update code, but we also don't want to restart REPL. So we want like new code, but we want to stop the thing, right? It would be nice if we only had functions. Functions update pretty nicely on Clojure, but we also have data. And data has dependencies, so like oh no, oh, this is terrible. Oh no, uh-oh. Yeah, let's, you'll have to look at it. No, I can actually, you know what? Let me figure this out. I know why this is happening, but let's yeah. I should somehow go like this. No? Oh, wait. No, now I don't know what's happening. That's fine. Okay, let's rerun. If it's not, it's really bad. No, it will be bad. Okay.
There's also the author of his own presentation stuff.
Yes, that's. I forgot to multiply by something somewhere, like scaling or.
Show us the power of REPL-driven.
Yeah. Let's put scale in here. No, that's not it. Oh no, wait. Okay. No, I don't know. Okay, yeah, that's bad. Yeah, sorry. I will get to the bottom of it. But anyways, yeah, that was REPL. That all makes sense. This is set up for later. But so data dependencies, basically we define something. We define something that depends. We define B depends on A. Then we like evaluate B. B is 11. We change A. We don't touch B, right? And B stays the same. Like with functions, it actually works because there is a vars layer that always gets resolved, but with data it doesn't. So we kind of want it to work, right? So if you change A, we want B to change as well. How do we do this? The simplest way is to eval buffer. So basically you open file and you hit some key combination in Emacs probably, or in Sublime Text in my case, and everything. It just basically sends everything to REPL, and it kind of works. And it kind of works for single file. As long as you have one file, it works surprisingly well, actually. So Clojure is like linear. If you evaluate everything from top to bottom, everything updates. But it doesn't work if you have multiple files, and there is a problem of dead code. So dead code is like if you have something like this, then you comment the first line out, and evaluate the whole thing, B still works, right? Because it remembers that A is still technically in the namespace, even though it's not in the file anymore. So it will work until you restart your REPL, and then you get your failure. You might even like on the long sessions, it's a real problem. You might even commit code and then find out that it doesn't work when you started from scratch. So slightly more sophisticated way to reload code is require. The require like standalone function. It has keys reload and reload all. So basically what they do is kind of the same. They evaluate file, but they also track dependencies. It tracks dependencies. Unfortunately, it's eager, so it's like it will reevaluate everything. Like every dependency you have, it just pulls them all in. It doesn't track like what changed, what not. It's like just does everything, and it doesn't unload namespaces. So you still have the problem with dead code. So if there's dead code, it will hang around, but you won't see it, which is terrible. It also resolves dependencies in the wrong direction, kind of. So what I mean by that, so we have three namespaces: A, B depends on A, C depends on B, right? And now we added the B, the middle one. What happens is, and we try to reload it, right? So it will reload actually A first and then B. But what we actually need is to reload B and C, right? So because we change B, we need to update everybody who depends on it, not everything that depends on B. So it's like in the wrong direction. It still can be made work. So I left like this for a while. You just have to find one namespace that includes everything, and then you reload this, and it will reload everything that you have. But it's like not very good. Right, so what do we want? We want to track dependencies. We want only to reload what have changed. We want to reload downstream. So downstream and upstream dependencies, I tried to figure it out. It's like impossible. I'll probably confuse them as well. But basically, we want the right direction, not the wrong direction. You understand what I mean. On the reload of changed, yeah, so we don't want to reload files if we didn't edit them, right? What would be the point? And we want to unload before reloading, so like we will get rid of that code and see errors if something was depending on code that we deleted. So there is a solution for this. It's been around for a while. I think it's originally was written by Stuart Sierra. It's called tools namespace. It's a library that was inspiration for Clj-reload. And basically the idea is, again, like this. So we have the same three namespaces, right? We edit the middle one. And in this case, it's important that you actually edit the file. So you edit and save the file so it updates on disk. So it tracks like modification times, right? And then you call this function that's easy to remember, clojure.tools.namespace.repl/refresh. If you call it, and what happens is it will unload C first, then it will unload B, then it will load B back and load C back, right? So like in correct topological order of dependencies, we change B, so get rid of everything that depends on it, and then load it back. Which is great, yeah, right? So like it covers all our basic requirements. It unloads, it tracks dependencies, it only reloads stuff that has changed on disk. But there's a problem, right? If everything was fine, I wouldn't write my own library. So first reload, for some reason, it reloads everything. I don't know what's up with it and how it was possible, but the first time you call this refresh function, it will reload every namespace. It doesn't track what changed or not. I don't know why. It was maybe a mistake, maybe like there was a workflow that makes sense, but it's still like that. The second problem is it reloads everything. So it basically you give it directories where your class files are, Clojure files are, and it will find every file that ends with .clj and try to load it. And it's fine-ish, but not always, right? So sometimes you want, like you were working on something, or you have like a test namespace that you like run some experiments in, and just lying around. You don't even load it like normally when you start your application, but tools namespace will find it and try to load it and fail, and you will have to fix it. So basically, you can only work with tools namespace if everything is working in your like project. You don't have like spare files. So my approach was, I used it for a while as well. My approach was like to rename this like CLJ to CLJ underscore or something, so it doesn't think it's Clojure, which is terrible. It doesn't support def-once, so def-once is a nice form like when you want some piece of state to stick around and not update, change when you reload your code. It doesn't work with tools namespace because the way tools namespace work, it just kills the whole namespace, like removes it entirely, and then loads it again. And when it loads again, def-once like couldn't find the previous version because like it's gone, so it doesn't work. There's some problem with reader tags. I'll get into it later. There's no load support, no require use support. So this like marginal features, I would say. You probably should not use them. But Clojure core, for example, uses load. So it's the Clojure core is split into several files that all together go into single namespace, basically. So if that's what you want, you would be, it's not possible with tools namespace, right? Or if you require, like in the middle of the file with the require function, it doesn't also understand this. And the biggest problem of the all, it doesn't have cool logo. But it doesn't have logo at all, so I'm not dissing on their logo, it just doesn't. Right? So that's all. I think that's enough reasons to introduce Clj-reload. It's a library that I wrote that ticks all the basic boxes and all the boxes that tools namespace doesn't. Right? So like this is the same that we just talked about, including amazing logo. So yeah, this list. See, like 4 versus 7, right, down, and there's like all up. So yeah, pretty obvious. Demo time. Yeah, I already spoiled a little bit. Look, I have a typo in here, or is it like in British accent? Demo time. And I can go in here. Look, the slides are Clojure program as well. That's the way it's structured. I'm not proud of it, but it's actually written in Clojure code. So we can go to time. Okay, so time. Yeah, there it is. We change it. Okay, so now look, I do say. Yeah, I better look into here. I do save, right? So we save this file. Then we go somewhere, and this is Clj-reload/reload, and I just evaluate, boom, and the slide updates, right? So what happened is, right? It did evaluate, right? Yeah, no, it did. I just want to show that. Yeah, it is too fast, sure. But this is the power of humble UI. This is return. It's actually, yeah, took 52 milliseconds, which is not too fast. Yeah, so look, it says that it unloaded these 2 namespaces and loads in the back, and basically like restarted everything. But it kept some state around, so like the position in the presentation, it's like it's the same, right? Which is basically how it works, yeah. Reloading in real time. And you can even update like paddings and code and whatever. Okay, so yeah, how does it keep the position though, right? Because if we unload everything and reload everything, you want to ask something? Huh? Yeah. Okay. If we unload everything and reload everything, how does it know to keep like position in the presentation and like other state, which is a little bit. And so basically the problem of this like domain is we want to reload code, but we want to keep state, some state, not every state, but some state, we want to keep it around, right? So how can we do that? With tools namespace, so basically the approach is you take your state, like the vars that you care about, you create a special namespace just for them, like this, and you disable reload on this namespace. So basically you have to put all your state into one namespace and disable reload for that. And the way of tools namespace to do this is to call this method disable reload, which is unfortunate because to do that basically means that you have to bring tools namespace into your production code, right? And this is usually split into like, usually have, like how it usually works, you have your application, like production application, and you have dev environment, right? And reload belongs in dev environment. So your production application shouldn't know about that you want like start REPL or reload code and blah, blah, blah. It has no business knowing about it. But with tools namespace, like this suggests that you do that, which is unfortunate. There is a way to hack this, basically. It's not official, but like if you look into implementation of disable reload, it says that it basically does this meta information namespace, so you can do that. And this works, at least you don't bring the dependency, the runtime dependency, right? But in Clj-reload way, you can do the same just when you initialize your system. So there is one call when before you can start reloading, which is Clj-reload core init, right? And it has arguments like which namespaces to ignore. And I have this in my set up for the presentation as well. See, there is like user namespace, which I ignoring, right? So this namespace will not be reloaded. You can also pass in which dirs you want to look for source codes, but it can figure it out from class path as well. Okay. The bigger problem is that like the whole namespace, like dedicating the entire namespace for keeping your state is unfortunate, because it basically dictates how you should organize your code. So it's still like this abstraction of reloading code is still like leaking into your production application, right? You have to create new namespace, and you have to adapt your code to reloading needs, which is unfortunate. In Clj-reload, though, like there is alternatives. So we support the same way, like you can, exclude namespaces, but there's also a way when you can just say, like you have regular code, regular namespace, and if you say def1 somewhere, which is a Clojure function, but we support it out of the box, it will just stay the same. So if we like reload this code, like Clojure this code, this will evaluate again, this will evaluate again, but this one will be kept from the previous, right? And this one will be evaluated again. So there will be new UUID, but the same atom, basically. That's how it works. Okay, so def1s. You can mix, like the upsides of using def1s is that you can mix it with other code. It doesn't dictate how to structure your code, and I think that's it. And well, basically it works again. So it used to work in normal Clojure, then tools namespace broke it, and we fixed it again. So it's like I'm just happy from just conceptual point of view. But we didn't stop there. I figured if we can support def1s, maybe we can support other stuff. So one of the problems that I have, okay, so real quick. So you can write the same thing like this, right? So it will work the same way as def1s works. Basically, it means just keep this var around, like reuse it, don't reload it, basically, right? But this has upside that you can put it on other stuff, right? And for example, you can keep it on protocols. And one of the annoying things about Clojure is the protocols are also really hard to reload. So if you reload protocol, it creates new protocol, new class, and like your old object stopped working, and it's like the whole thing. And Humble UI, for example, is based a lot on objects and protocols, and it was a huge problem until like I have figured again special namespace for them and blah blah blah. But in Clj-reload, we can just put this notification or annotation on this form, and protocol will be kept around, hopefully. We can support records, we can support types, I think, as well, and we support even custom forms, but there is a little bit of work to do, like it's not, if you're willing to do that, it's possible, basically, what I'm saying. Finally, so we can reload stuff, we can keep vars around, right? And the hardest problem of them all is stateful resources. So stuff like HTTP servers, DB connection, and components, right? So objects that have life cycles, like they have to be stopped and then started again, like HTTP server. Like if you reload namespace with a server, you need to stop it and then start it again. And tools namespace approach to this is not very cool. So they basically say stop everything you have, call reload, and then start everything back again, which works. But the problem is, again, it's not granular enough. If you change a namespace that doesn't touch web server, for example, why would you restart web server? But in tools namespace, there is no way to know which namespaces will be reloaded, which wouldn't. You only know that you are going to call reload and something will happen. Maybe nothing will happen, but you don't know. So you have to, like, in advance stop everything, like to be safe, and start everything again. In Clj-reload, of course, we solve this problem. That's what we do. We solve problems. We have a concept of hooks, right? So a really simple concept. So you have a state, you have a component that like have start-stop functions. You just write a function called before ns unload, so it has to be exactly this name. And if you have this function in your namespace, it will be called only when this particular namespace is reloaded, right? So yeah, if you change something that doesn't touch this namespace, it will be like kept as it is. If it for any reason it will be reloaded, it will be called basically. Well, you can change it in options, but like default name is like this. And the upside of it is you only stop and start what you actually need, right? You do it in the context of your actual namespace. So see, like here, because it's just a function in your namespace, you have access to like two variables, for example, like this server is this server. You don't have to invent anything like to reference it, right? It's just normal Clojure code. In tools namespace, because you call reload in different namespace, like in def namespace, for example, you have to like be really inventive. And because these namespaces come and go, you cannot just import it. You have to resolve every time and look for a function from symbols, and like it's a whole story. And this is much simpler in my opinion. Yeah, how are we doing on time? Are you tracking it?
3 more minutes.
3 more minutes, okay. Yeah, that's enough time. So 1 minute for how it works. Okay, so really brief overview how it works. You just, it scans your directories for Clojure files, right? Reads and parses them, builds dependency graph, topological sort, but actually it figures out what changed, then topological sort, this should be swapped. Unloads namespaces and loads them back again. So like really basic stuff. But even like in this plain algorithm, like second point read and parse is tricky. It turns out there's lots of, so basically when we read Clojure file, all we need from it is namespace form. Like I need the name of the namespace and name of namespaces it imports basically. But to do that, I have to actually read the whole file. And Clojure Reader is tricky because it tries to interpret a lot of stuff and execute code. And basically the work was just to stop it from trying to do so. So like this stuff is pretty easy. You can say like don't expand it with CLJ tag, right? This stuff is also easy if you expand it, but if you try to read it in non-expanded form, it doesn't work. But I don't have time to explain it. I think it tried to when it sees something like this, it tried to actually construct a record, which I don't want. I don't even care about this code. Like it's somewhere in the middle of the file, and you don't even need it. But because you're reading it, like it still fucks your system up. Hashtags again. So the tools namespace have some problem with them. I cannot pinpoint exactly what it is, but there are problems for sure. And this annoying thing as well. So for Clojure to read this, it has to know in which namespace you already is. And like it's like very strange dependency. So namespace has to exist basically, just to read the like keyword, because there is no like non-expanded keyword in Clojure, not typed like this. It has to be expanded somehow. And this is the same, right? But it also like tries to resolve this in the class name and stuff like that. It could be stopped, but it was tricky. And finally, yeah, the funniest part probably how def_once works. So this algorithm that we saw earlier, there's actually a trick that we do. So after figuring out what's changed, right? We look for def_onces in namespaces. We store them in we create temporary namespace, move them there, unload code, then we patch files that we are going to load, and then we load them. So basically, if you have something like this in your file, when it will be loaded, it will actually look like this. So we remove this part. And we do this in memory, like not on disk. So, but still, we remove this part and replace it with this part. So it's the same var, same name, but it actually takes value from the stash where we stashed the value, right? So it will not like evaluate it again, but it will pull it from the stash. Protocols, so like it's even harder, but yeah, no, there's I don't even put slides about protocols, no chance. And yeah, real quick, this is like final steps. We can reload by regexp. So basically, if you need find all tests in your test folders, you can do that. And this will look for changes and for namespaces that are not yet loaded. So you can like load test for the first time, for example. You can find namespace because we're already doing this, so there's a function for you to use basically. Return value informs you what was loaded, what was not loaded. So like you can theoretically like build something on top of Clj-reload if you need to do some funny stuff. Recently there's been CIDR integration, so it should work inside Emacs now. I don't have Emacs, I can confirm, but I'm sure it should work. These are places where you can find it. So it's a GitHub repo, we have Slack channel, or you can ping me directly. And that's it. You can ask for questions. Yeah. Yay.
Thanks.
Yeah.
So we have time
Yeah,
for
yeah.
a couple of questions.
I have one.
Sure.
What's the status of the Clojure script support?
Clojure script, we don't support it. No.
Do you plan to or not?
I haven't even looked into it, so not for me personally, but I would be happy to see pull requests. Yeah. But I like Clojure script is so different. I have no idea what it involves even.
Plus shadows here just already does that.
Yeah, that's kind of the point. Yeah, they already have it kind of covered. So yeah. Any more questions? Yeah.
This is a little bit nitpicky question, but you decided to use metadata for marking some bars that you don't want to reload. But
Yeah.
this before namespace approach, you went a totally different direction with this magic name of the function in your namespace. And is this right? Like, did I understand it right? Like, you have a function of a particular name.
Yeah.
And it was just triggering that why is it not either a mark code with a do block, so like make it clear this is only code I want to execute in a certain context, it's never a function I want to use outside. Or if you would also use metadata, you could use this, it could be a function that you could use normally, it could be a normal function.
Yeah.
So the question is, why did you deviate from the pattern before where you said it's nice that it's all Clojure and we don't do any additional stuff, we just do metadata, is there a particular reason? Or?
You mean this function, right? Like before namespace unload.
A definite stop server, which and that could just be marked as before namespace.
Yeah. I don't know. This just seems simpler, right? I don't know.
Okay.
It could be metadata as well. Yeah, for sure. But yeah, I guess it was just simpler. Yeah.
I think one of the coolest ways to use reloading is for test runners, because with a test runner, classically you have to kind of rerun everything from scratch. And if you have a running REPL and you can just, on every file change, you reload the necessary files.
Mm-hmm.
And that should work much better with Clj-reload than before. Then you could, reduce the cycle time for test runners significantly, because you only have to recompile basically what changed.
Yeah.
Any thoughts on kind of using this as a kind of super fast test runner?
Yeah, it can be set up really easily. So basically, when you do reload, it returns namespaces that is reloaded. So you look which of them have tests and only run tests in those namespaces. So it's like really trivial to do. Yeah. Good idea. Yeah. And it will be tests that actually like depend on namespaces that actually change. So like it's all like proper linked. Yeah. Cool. Yeah.
Any other questions?
Yeah.
One really not interesting question. So what was it? What thing about tools namespace was the thing that pulled the trigger for you to build this library? Like, what was the?
Yeah. Okay, let me scroll to where I have. So I think it was a combination of this. So at first I started like to fixing them one by one, but when it was like 4 or 5 of them, it was like, okay, yeah, there's enough material to like justify a new library, and I'm not sure if it's supported or not anymore. I think Alex Miller merged one of my requests, but like the rest is like unanswered. There's even no discussion, so I figured it will be not possible to change it too much. I mean, yeah. But basically, I tried to split my Humble UI code with like into multiple names. There's really complicated setup where it's like one namespace import another's, but into the same namespace. It's like crazy stuff. So I needed that for sure. And the fact that it reloads everything, yeah, it was. Yeah, basically, yeah, it reloads everything because I was in the middle of migrating Humble UI, and I have a lot of files with experiments that were like not working, but I'm trying to reload and like, hey, does it work? Yeah, I know it doesn't work. Like, what do you want from me? Yeah, this was as well. So like combination of things basically. Okay,
Right,
that's
thanks,
it.
Nikki.
Yeah, thank you.
Stick around for another half hour or so, if that's okay, Kirill?
It says here until 9:30, so it's good to
So it should be fine. Yeah.